Hi everybody, welcome back to this quick breakdown series for Soul Calibur 6. It would be about the most important and scariest character in the story of the Soul Calibur, Nightmare. To do this, I have been helped by a very important and famous player who just won his first tournament with Nightmare, Kiv, and also by Joe, who analyzed a lot the character. Let's quickly jump into the menu of this video. We will begin with the changes we have seen on the character. Then, we will talk about his new moves, including his own mechanics, the Night Terror Charge. Finally, we will talk about his game plan, his strengths and weaknesses. The notation of Soul Calibur will be used. I made a small infographic about it, the link is in the description. You want to know more about the Azure Knight in Soul Calibur 6? Let's start now. How would we usually define Nightmare in Soul Calibur games? Nightmare is Siegfried's dark alter ego. He is a slow but hard-hitting character who plays at mid and long range thanks to his big sword. He shares with Siegfried his capacity to do significant damage on simple combos. Better than him to whiff punish attacks from far away, he is also more punishable. His ability to push the opponent close to the wall and his ring out game are also part of his usual strength. Let's go deeper and check what attacks did he lost in this Soul Calibur 6. A significant loss is his former 3K, fast and safe tracking attack. It was easily one of his best poke in close range before. The move still exists, but it has changed a lot, has become sidesteppable and does not give as much advantage. Then his AGA, which was previously a guard break attack, while leaving Nightmare at advantage even when he gets blocked. Now it's not a break attack anymore and he lost the advantage on guard. We can also note the disappearance of his standing K, which was his fastest attack by I-13. Finally, as some other character, he has lost some low attacks in stance. But we can note the return of some good old attacks. First, his 1-1B, which comes back from Soul Calibur 3 and 4. Similar to the old Night Side Stance B, it's a good ranged low attack. Then, his generic A plus B break attack has the animation of his 4B in Soul Calibur 3 and 4. It will counter guard impacts and reversal edge while going into his new Night Behind stance. His 6BB also comes back from Soul Calibur 3 and 4 with an additional armor property. There is also his Night Lower Stance KK, which was his former Grimstep KK from Soul Calibur 3 and 4. Now it will allow a combo after 3B by picking an opponent on the ground and can ring out or wall splat without consuming any resources. Nightmare has gained a lot of new things, including 2 new stances in this game, which reminds Soul Calibur 2 Nightmare. They can be accessed via transitions after certain attacks, but also go into the other stance. Each one has at least 4 attacks. In the Night Lower stance, NLS KK as seen previously, NLS B, which is his former Full Crouch 3B, NLS A, which is a new attack that hits low and prevents sidestepping. Finally, NLS A plus B, only available in Soul Charge. The Night Behind stance has NBS A, which is a long range tracking low attack, NBS B, which is a mid gap closer attack, NBS K, which is Siegfried knee, and finally NBS A plus B, only available in Soul Charge. But that's not all. Nightmare has also new mechanics. One of them is armored attacks. These attacks are 6A, 6B, 6K, 6A plus B. And of course his critical edge that also can be held to become unblockable. By executing these moves, Nightmare will be able to tank moderate damage from attacks, if they are neither low nor break attacks. He will then respond automatically with his big explosion, which will become break attack. He will be at advantage even if it's blocked, and he will pass to his Night Terror Charge states that we will see right now. The Night Terror Charge is his other new mechanics in the Soul Calibur 6. This state will let him access to all of his soul charge moves, without any timer or spending any resources. However, he can only use one of his attacks before returning to his normal state. To access it, he must hit his opponent with attacks like 4KK, 2A+B, and Grimstep KK if he is already in this state. However, he will not need to hit the opponent if he does his 6A+B explosion. Because of that, he will also automatically switch to his Night Terror charge after success from armored attacks, because they will also trigger the explosion. Thanks to this mechanic, it will be possible to remain constantly in this state by using the right attacks at the right moments, and thus be a source of danger as if you were perpetually in soul charge. Let's check that and talk about his game plan in our last part. So how do you play Nightmare in this Soul Calibur 6? First, Nightmare has to play at medium and long range, where he can control the space with attacks like AGA, 6A and 3A. At this range, you will punish whiffed attacks with attacks like 3-3B, 3B and 4KB. When Nightmare gets the turn to attack, he can start his stance game with 2B and going into Night Lower stance. If he loses his turn, he can try to armor attacks with 6K, 6A or create distance to take less risk. Finally, in all of his game plan, he must carefully choose his attacks to trigger and maintain his Night Terror charge and become a source of constant danger. In Soul Charge or Night Terror charge, he has powerful attacks that improve his game plan on several points. First, his punishment game. Nightmare gets 3 upgraded Soul Charge moves to punish effectively. The Soul Charge KB and Soul Charge 66KK for close range, but also Soul Charge Wisanding KB to punish from blockaded low attacks. Then, his combo damage potential is improved. New combos will be accessible thanks to his A+B attacks in stance, like Soul Charge Night Side Stance A+B after 3B. He can also extend combos if he is in Soul Charge, like in this combo Soul Charge 66KK into Grimstep B into Soul Charge Grimstep KK. Finally, his ring out game and damage on the opponent guard gauge will be improved, thanks to his Soul Charge 6BBB, which can break the guard in 2 times, and his Soul Charge Grimstep KK, which can ring out the opponent. As we have seen so far, Nightmare's strengths are his whiff punish game and his ring out games that remain excellent, his offensive stance game where he wins new stances and new transitions, his damage potential that gets heavier when he triggers a Night Terror charge, and finally his ability to steal the turn with his armored attacks and trigger his buff. This will be at the cost of his slowness, especially in close combat where many attacks leave him at disadvantage or are punishable, permanent risk taking, especially to trigger his new mechanics where he will have to endure hits with his armored attacks. Finally, his complexity. In order to take advantage of its new Night Terror charge mechanics, he will have to consistently choose his combo for each situation. In conclusion, Nightmare is ideal for players who are good to manage their range, ring positioning, and smart enough to consistently take advantage of the potential of his new Night Terror charge mechanic. And I thank again Kiv and Joe. Kiv is still a big fan of the character, and he thinks that Namco really did a great job on his design. He really appreciates the fact that they gave him new stances. His Night Terror charge state also makes the character more technical and even more interesting. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a thumb up, share or subscribe to my channel to support me. Feel free to use the comments and suggest me the characters that you would like to see next. There will be more content coming, and I would also do live stream on Soul Calibur 6 when the game releases in October on my Twitch channel. Follow me there to be notified. Thank you for watching again. See you next time.